Most people think bigger effort creates bigger results. Stretch harder, train longer, push through tension, but your nervous system does not work that way. Sometimes small little inputs create such big shifts. The tiny eye movement, a small head turn, just little change in breathing. And suddenly balance improves, range of motion changes, muscle tension decreases. It almost sounds a little too simple, and clients sometimes come in and they say to me, Heike, do the magic. But there is no magic, it's all neuroscience, and there's a very clear reason why this happens. Because your brain does not organize this movement through effort alone, it organizes through information, and that's very important. Because when the brain receives clear information, the entire system kind of updates. So the posture changes, movement becomes easier, tension decreases, and sometimes even pain shifts. If the brain senses uncertainty, it prioritizes protection over performance. In this video, we'll explore why the brain responds so strongly to very small inputs and why sometimes tiny movements change the system way faster than big effort, and how the nervous system uses microinformation to update its prediction. I'll also guide you through 3 simple small exercises to show you how small inputs can reorganize movement. Welcome, I'm Heike Fallon. I'm the founder of Expand Health and the creator of the NeuroHP method, and I combine neuroscience, sports therapy, and personal performance coaching to help people who are not willing to be limited optimize their health and personal performance for longevity. And for over 30 years, I've studied the brain, the body, and the connection. And today, I want to explore why small movements can create surprisingly big nervous system shifts. Before we go into it though, make sure you grab my free PDF guide. You'll find it in the description, so download it and utilize it. It's really valuable, lots of great information in that. But now let's get started. Let's dive into the brain science. Don't worry, I'm not going to make it too complicated, but your brain never directly sees your muscles or your joints. It actually only receives signals. And the fascinating part, these signals are electrical signals from sensors throughout the body, so from your joints, from your skin, from everywhere, and it's electrical signals. And the brain uses those signals to build an internal model of the body. And you can kind of think of it as a map. And that map is constantly updating of where your body is and how it's moving and if it's safe. And every movement you make is based on that map. But maps are never perfect. They are always kind of approximations, which means the brain is constantly updating them. Just small adjustments, tiny corrections, like micro updates. And this process is happening every second, all the time. You don't even feel that. And here's something a lot of people don't realize. The brain learns the most from small little errors. Not like these massive mistakes, but small mismatches between what the brain is expecting and what actually happens. And in neuroscience, it's called a prediction error. And when the brain detects just that small little mismatch, it updates the internal model. And this update can change how your body moves. So when you perform a very small controlled movement, the brain receives very precise information. And that information can refine the body map, which sometimes improves movement immediately. And we'll go into that right now, and then you'll see that for yourself. Another reason small inputs are so powerful has to do with signal quality. The nervous system is constantly filtering that information, trying to determine what signals are meaningful and what signals are kind of noise. So large movement often creates a lot of noise because many muscles are working, multiple joints are moving, lots of variables. But small movements create clean signals, clear information, precise feedback. So even a small little finger circle, right? And that makes it easier for the brain to update that internal model and update that map. So think about it kind of like how a pilot controls an airplane. Large steering, if you're in an airplane, I mean, I haven't flown one myself, but I flew in a small plane as a passenger. Large steering changes are rarely used because most adjustments are very small. Tiny correction, constant calibration, because your nervous system works the same way. Small adjustments are how the brain fine-tunes movement. And when that calibration improves movement, becomes so much easier, more efficient, more coordinated. But with that said, let's get going on an exercise. So what I would like you to do is stand with your feet hip-width apart and just kind of check in how it feels under your feet. And now I want you to just slightly move your eyes to the side and the other side. And kind of pay attention. Is there more tension? Are you holding your breath? Are you shifting? Just pay attention. See how it feels. Did you feel any change or not so much? Very well possible. Depends on how well you're aware of your body and your sensation. If you didn't feel much, don't worry about it. We're going to do another one that is a little bit more impactful, a little bigger change on what we're doing. If you're not comfortable doing it standing, please sit down. But what I would like you to do now is close your eyes. Close your eyes. Hope you follow along. And first feel, are you moving? Are you not moving? Does it feel comfortable? And now keep your eyes closed, but keep your eyes closed and move them side to side again. Do it very slow. And kind of check in and see if there's any sensation. Is there sway? Is there shifting? Is there tension? Or do you feel fully relaxed? Excellent. So you may have felt that, right? You may have felt you're holding your breath. That could be that the brain senses a little more urgency, a little bit of threat. It could be that you feel tightness or sway. That's the body all trying to figure out how to deal with this type of impact. Information, which also when we close the eyes is actually an inhibiting of light coming in. So if there's less light coming in, that could be for some people actually very good and relaxing. And for other people, it could be a stress response. So we're not all the same. In a following exercise we're going to do a little later, we do it a little differently assessing. So don't worry if you could not feel a big change right now. But if you didn't, I would highly recommend to practice that actually, because you can train that awareness, what's called an interoception. You can train that, and it really helps to feel when you get tight, when you hold your breath, particularly when you're more in a stress situation, to have that awareness is very good. So if you did not feel much change, please take it as a chance to actually develop that awareness. So now let's move on. When signals are clear, the brain does not need to protect you as much, right? Protection often shows up, as I said, in muscle tension, often reduced range of motion, movement hesitation. But clarity reduces uncertainty. And when uncertainty drops, the nervous system often allows more movement. So let's do another exercise. For this one, we're going to do first an assessment, because especially if you couldn't feel much change earlier, doing an assessment of a range of motion and reassessing that range of motion afterwards, that can give you also a little quick information on how your nervous system, how your brain responds to the input. So that gives you a clear, more visual outcome than actually just checking in and feeling your breath or your tension. And as I said, when the brain feels that there's a threat, it will reduce its range of motion. So that will show up very easy in the thing that we're going to do now. So for the assessment, make sure you stand hip width apart, straighten your arms out in front, and you're going to rotate to the sides, keeping the sole of your feet on the ground. Keep your elbows straight. Good. Do that a few repetitions, not too fast. We don't want you to get dizzy. Very slowly. Okay, so you rotate as far as you can rotate without lifting the sole of your feet off the floor. So and I, by the way, highly recommend doing it without shoes. So you're gonna rotate, and whatever you see when you look over the line of your thumbs here, I have a map here. I'm actually kind of tight today. So I have a couple lines here. I know which line I'm there. And when I rotate this direction, I can tell where I'm at in my bookcase here. So this is my assessment before I'm going to give my brain an input. So that's my baseline. Then I'm going to use a pen. I like to get the tip out just because we have a more specific target to look at. Again, if you are not feeling comfortable with this, please sit down, lie down. I even have clients lie down and do the exercises lying down, depending on your state. And with anything, obviously, you want to be cleared by a professional, health professional first before doing some new exercise. So please, if you're feeling dizzy or not good, stop. It's a threat response by your brain, so please stop. But if you're feeling pretty good right now, start the pen below eye level, not too low, and we're gonna do eye circles. Making sure you go above your eyes, coming around. And again, they don't have to be too big. So you're following the tip of the pen with your eyes while your head stays still. We're gonna do one more. Excellent. So that was an eye circle, and now we're gonna reassess. So I got a lot further in my rotation, so I improved by looking over my thumbs here by quite a bit rotation. So this particular input was very good for my brain, because my brain went like, whoo, I like that. That was a good input. I let you move more. Your movement becomes more efficient and looser. And if you had less range of motion, that would mean this particular exercise was a threat response to your brain. And that would mean either definitely don't do it standing right now, because we don't want to train the brain or do exercise where the brain recognizes it as a threat. But what I would recommend for you, then do it seated. See how you do the same exercise seated and then reassess. Or like I said, I've had clients lie down, start lying down. You may even start it with your eyes closed and follow the circle motion, even with the eyes closed. And that could be your starting point. So with that said, though, we're all different. You have to customize exercises depending on your brain, where your state is right now, and figure out your starting point accordingly. So I hope that showed you how a little exercise, little input can have actually tremendous big shifts when it comes down to the nervous system. Because we didn't stretch, right? We didn't do a stretching, trying to rotate more. We actually did simple eye movement and got more range of motion. And here's the thing. Pain is also influenced by prediction. The brain uses past experiences and sensory signals to estimate the risk. If the signal is unclear, the brain may increase protection. But if the signals become clearer, the brain may update its prediction, and that can change how movement feels. And this is why sometimes a small sensory input changes how the body overall responses. Now, usually with pain, it is that you gain more range of motion first, you gain actually more strength first, and then the pain usually goes away after that. Now, this is not if there is an acute accident. Highly recommend to still go to the hospital, see a doctor, but we're talking about these on and off kind of pains that come and go. They're related to if your brain recognizes the input as a threat or not. So let's do another exercise, foot pressure calibration. So stand comfortably, ideally barefoot if possible, and stand hip width apart, tall spine, soft knees, and slowly shift your weight forward and back. Good. Now, again, you may want to do an assessment before or after if you have a hard time checking in, but I really want to encourage you to practice creating that self-awareness. Good. So now we're going to do a slight little shift to the side and the other side. And just kind of take time and see and feel what happens, and stay on the side now. Feel how much more weight and tension is on that side, shifting back. How much weight and tension is on this side. Now, if you're comfortable, close your eyes. Shift again a little bit the weight forward. Feel how much your abdominals end up holding tension as well. Check in with your breathing. Did your breathing change? Shifting back on the heels. And then we can also make it a circle. Again, keep your eyes closed if you're comfortable. Go really slow. Open your eyes. Keep going. Good. And back to center. Shake that out a little bit. If you did an assessment before, reassess. Otherwise, like I said, I encourage you to practice the awareness, checking in, feeling how muscles get tight, how your breath changes. If you're holding your breath, where tension starts, maybe your neck gets tight. Oftentimes, people wonder why their neck tension and pain doesn't go away. Well, it might be because information from under your foot isn't as good to the brain. The brain doesn't have a good map of how we stand on our feet, particularly because we're wearing shoes pretty much all the time. How many times do you really walk barefoot to get more signals coming in through the sole of your feet to the brain? So very important to practice too, as far as information coming in from the bottom of your feet, because we're on our feet all day long, right? Now, many people also feel more grounded after this exercise, again, because the brain just refined its map of the body by shifting the weight around. Let's talk about longevity here too. So when you think about longevity, it's not just about strength and fitness. It's about maintaining a well-calibrated nervous system, because the nervous system coordinates everything. Movement, balance, energy, adaptation, small little daily inputs help the brain maintain the accurate maps of the body. And accurate maps support long-term performance, and that's why brain-based movement is such an important part of the NeuroHP method. So if you like this video, think of anyone that you know that you would like to share it with, because they should really listen to this information as well. Subscribe to my channel. I always upload new science-based content, follow along exercises. I do also have the NeuroHP movement library if you're interested in learning more brain-based exercises. There's a link below in the description. Until next time, I hope you will start investing in yourself today. You deserve it, and your future self will actually thank you. I'll see you in the next episode.